Welcome back to the Card Pool. I'm your host, Stu.
And I'm Kyle, and today we are broadcasting from quarantine.
Yay! Everyone's favorite thing. It's the best.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can here, but
yeah, so it might not be the best sounding. It might have a little issues, but again, we're trying to do what we can do to make it so we can still give you guys some stuff to watch. So what we're gonna do today is an unboxing of sorts. My brother got me this forever ago for Christmas, and I told him I was gonna open it live on the channel. So I am now going to finally being able to open up a fat pack of Throne of Eldraine. And Kyle's going to be my trusty sidekick, walk me through some of these cards, let me know some of the value of them.
Of course.
And if you're going to be along with that ride for us. So if anyone's never gotten a fat pack before, pretty much, or a bundle, which is the more updated term for this thing, inherently it's a great way to get like some lands and stuff like that and build your collection in a very light form.
And you get like a new dice with it, and yeah, there's some cool stuff in there.
So here we go. So we're opening this bad boy. It
nice
comes
box
with
too.
10 packs. Yeah, it's a decent box. It's good for storage. So yeah, it comes with a big size D20.
Ooh, that's a pretty one. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they're not bad. You get a handful of foil cards, which come pre-selected. Every one of these boxes should have one. We can walk through that in a second. And then you get a whole bunch of basics, which everyone has to have in order to play. So
not everybody, but most people.
Most people, you typically need at least a couple basics.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a deck that had no basic lands except for some like really old school colorless ones before wastelands existed. So,
all right, so we'll go ahead. We'll crack the first pack, and we'll see what we get.
All right.
Go ahead, put it over here. Hopefully, it's viewable in a decent fashion, and I can also open these. I haven't opened a pack in so long. All right, pack one, cracking. That's the token. Commons.
Hmm.
All right, so let's get into the uncommons here. Skullknocker Orc. I can't even talk. Rampart Smasher. Oakhame Adversary. And we have one of the lands, actually. Castle Alvernia, or Ardvale, sorry. So let's go ahead. It's a basic land, enters into play tap and lets you control a basic plains. Or plains, my bad. And it goes ahead and produces one plains of mana. And if you tap 4 mana, 2 generic, and a double white for it, it goes ahead and creates a token. So it's a decent card. It's solid for just mono white. It's good for token builds. Like something for Rise and Commander would be all right with it as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It's not one of the better castle lands, but it's all right. I mean, 4 mana for a 1/1 token is kind of eh. I mean, I wish it had Vigilance or Lifelink or something like that, but I mean, it's basically a plains with upside, so I guess I can't complain all that much.
Yeah, it's not bad. If you're using mono, like mono-colored white, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, and it's nice, unlike the like uncommon or common, I forget which lands they were, but the uncommons or common lands that need 3 of a basic land type to come into play untapped. This only needs 1, so that's a benefit as well.
Yeah, definitely. So now we'll go on to our next pack. So here we go here, going through the commons. Not going to really touch on these a lot. Most people have typically seen these, trying to make it so there's no glare. One of my spec cards from Forever Go Giant Spear. Glad to have one of those. All right, now into the uncommons. Righteousness. Revenge of Ravens. Drown in the Loch.
Oh, that's a good one.
Fae of Wishes, which is actually pretty good. I got to foil something back there.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So Fae of Wishes is one of the adventure cards. I got a foil swamp and a basic swamp. That's pretty cool. So yeah, we'll look at Fae of Wishes real fast.
That's the real money right there.
Yeah, always the same thing. Yeah, I love them foil lands. But yeah, so we have an adventure card, Fairy Wizard, solid card. So it costs 2 mana, 1 generic, and a blue. And it's a 1/4 if you just go ahead with flying and pay it out for that cost. It also has the added effect if you pay 2 mana, 1 generic, and a blue. You discard 2 cards and return Fae of Wishes back to its owner's hands. Or you can go ahead and do the adventure for the sorcery, which costs 4 mana, 3 generic, and an island. You may choose a non-creature card from outside the game and reveal it and put it into your hand. So it's almost like one of the wish cards, hence the name.
Well,
And the
it's
cool,
not almost like it is pretty much like that. And I mean,
well,
it's a really good one too, because
yeah,
it's not just one type of card, because most of the wish cards are like they can get, oh, you get a sorcery from outside the game, or you get an instant, or you get a creature. This gets anything, and the thing that's so cool about it is that you can basically use its own creature ability to buy it back and keep wishing for things. And you got the really pretty version too, so that's awesome.
yeah, I
I really
love the storybook cards. I'm pretty excited about that.
That's
And
very
also, the
cool.
really cool thing is that you get the a bit, with adventure, which most people are a little bit more aware of the effect right now. Is the adventure pretty much you cast it for that, and then you can go ahead and cast this creature from exile and go ahead and make it so you get extra bang for your buck, which is pretty nice with these cards. You can use it for the short term or the long term, and versatility in Magic is always good.
Yeah,
So
and
we'll
it's
go.
weird though with the wishes. You don't really see much of them in Commander, because we don't really play with sideboards most of the time. But it's a cool card. I would consider playing with it if
Gosh,
people would let me play a sideboard.
yeah, no, I mean it's not bad. I mean it's the wish cards themselves are a little bit, I'd say, lame just for the fact that they don't do anything. And like, sure, anyone's like, "Oh, I get the exact card I need to, kill your deck." Well, inherently, it's a little bit more viable now, but still.
Yeah,
Well, here we go. Just for the token, we'll display that. We got the token to go with the land, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
nice. Hmm.
All right, so we'll go on through. We'll get rid of these commons out of the way. Not going to pay a lot of attention to them. Golden Egg, gotta love that one though.
Hmm.
All right, now into the uncommons. Archon of Absolution. That's
That's
actually
not
a
a
good
bad
one.
one.
That's another spec card that I was talking about.
Hmm.
Legendary uncommon here. Seer Farron of Hengehammer.
Oh, that's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It can be possible good commander for mono green, but I
It
think there
could
are better
be.
ones out there.
Yeah,
Shine
definitely.
Chaser. And for the rare, Wicked Wolf. Now, this is a 4-drop and a land in the
Oh,
back. So this is a 4-drop wolf creature. It costs 2 generic and double green for a 3/3 body. And it reads, when Wicked Wolf enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. And you have the added effect of sacrificing a food. And if you do, go ahead and put a 1/1 counter on this creature. It gains indestructible until the end of the turn and tap it. So inherently,
this
when it
is
enters...
actually. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Stu?
No, go for it, man. I've been talking a lot.
Well, I was just gonna say this is a really inherently very solid card, and it's a big role player in standard right now. For example, the thing that makes me upset about it is that it relies on food to be good, which only exists in Eldraine. So it's kind of a bummer that this doesn't really do anything outside of a lot of like Eldraine based decks. Otherwise, if you could just sacrifice anything, for example, it would be an awesome card.
Well,
Like
yeah, if it was to
absurdly
sacrifice just an
good.
artifact, like, be a lot more viable for certain. But
Yeah.
however, being able to have like an instant speed sack outlet like that for artifacts, we've seen how broken that's been in the past, so I can see why Wizards was a bit wary on that.
Well,
But
yeah, I just wish that some of these in block cards would just be a little bit more outside, like they would be good outside of their respective environments. However, Wolf Tribal is slowly becoming a thing, and Wicked Wolf is one of the better members of that tribe. So,
yeah,
hey,
and
and I'm
also,
not talking about werewolves either.
oh really? I thought you were talking werewolves. It's like
No,
inherently
like
sure they got
even
some.
just wolves. I mean, you could build green white wolves in Commander with Tulsimir from War of the Spark. It's possible.
I guess you're right with that one. I didn't really think of that, but you could do that, sure. All right, now
All
let's go
right,
on
what
to
do we
our
got here?
next pack. All right, so starting out with the commons. Crashing Drawbridge, Lost Legion, Redcap Raiders. I have no idea what that clicking sound is. Reaper of Night, Jousting Dummy.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah, we're gonna have some of them, but yeah,
Yeah,
we might want to make sure Jason's might need to be muted, but I'm not sure. But either
that's
way,
all right. Yeah, for those of you who have heard a little break in here and there, that's our engineer Jason Klee, and we thank him very much for what he does because he is awesome and set all this up. So,
yeah, he's knows the tech that we have no idea of. But now we'll go on
yeah,
to this one. We're reaching the uncommons. First one starting out is the Pinocchio of cards, and this one, Inquisitive Puppet,
that's fun.
Seer, Kara the Bold.
Oh, Sarkara, that's a really good one. I'd talk about that one, but let's get to the rare first.
All right. Oh, that word's Sir? Okay. Sir
Yeah.
Alan, the Lion's Claw. And hey, I like this guy, Fayborough Elder. Now, we definitely talked about this card when we previewed this segment a little bit, but we will take no moment here to hesitate upon talking about some more. So this right here is a 3-drop Tree Folk Druid that has a 0/0 power. It costs 1 generic and a Selesnya being a green and a white. And this creature has Vigilance, and in addition, it goes ahead and gets 1/1 for each color among permanents you control. So he already is a 2-colored permanent, so it comes in as a 2/2 inherently.
Yeah,
and lastly,
can we... Yeah.
Go.
Oh, sorry. I keep getting excited. You go ahead.
No, well, I'm just going to finish reading the card, and then I'll pass it on to you, man. So, and you can also go ahead and you can tap this for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color. So inherently, this goes ahead and it taps for a green and a white as soon as it comes into play, which is awesome. But, all right, Kyle, I'll hand the mic to you. What do you got?
Well, I was just going to talk about, like, this is one of my favorite cards from Eldraine, and, like, I think this is criminally underplayed and under-recognized, because can we just step back for a minute and talk about how absurd this card is? Like, I feel like people just don't get it because they've been spoiled by some, like, really, really genuinely overpowered cards in Magic's history. But if you look at this, you'll realize pretty quickly, this is really good. I mean, it's a 3-mana, 2/2 with Vigilance that taps for 2 mana by itself. That alone is really, really good. Then if you just add more colors to this, it gets insanely good. I mean, this is, in my opinion, this is a staple for a 5-color deck, because you could tap this and make 5 mana. You could tap this and make 5 mana. How can you say no to that?
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't think it's necessarily a 5-color staple. It's definitely something that you would use in green-white, maybe in Bance as well. Go ahead and maybe get more value from it with the tapping.
Oh, you got to think bigger than that. In green-white, you might...
You could use it for 5. I'm just saying I wouldn't.
In green-white, you could play any number of cards that alone are probably better than this. This is better where you can jam a ton of colors into the same deck, because it can get giant, it taps for lots of mana, and like I said, people think Bloom Tender is a great card. This gives it a run for its money. I genuinely believe that.
That's some fighting words right there, Kyle. I don't know about that.
But this should be at least as expensive as Bloom Tender, because it's basically the same card.
Hey, I just pulled it, so I have no problem if it's about that price. So, it works out for me in that regard.
But can we go back and talk about Sarkara, though? That's one I really like from this set.
Yeah, we can talk about that real fast. We got the time. Why not? Everyone's just staying home waiting on their lives.
All right, go ahead and read that one out, Stu.
Bold. All right, so this is a 5-drop. It is a 3 generic and double red for a legendary creature that's a human knight with a 3/3 body. And whenever this creature or an instant or sorcery you control deals damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. And you can go ahead and tap this card to deal 1 damage to any target. So it inherently enables its own effect, which is pretty cool. So why do you love this card, Kyle?
Well, yeah, I don't think not all the uncommon legendary knights were great. I think it's obvious that Sir Conrad the Grim was the best of this cycle because he can be very busted. However, I do think Sarkara is a close second, because this gives red one of the things that it is always hurting for, and that's card draw. So
it is impulse card draw. Like, you have to go ahead and use it that turn.
Right, but that's about as good as red is ever going to be able to expect. So
I don't agree with that at all. I think red does have some stuff. It can work. However, you do risk losing a lot. But this, I mean, if you were to go ahead and team this in Izzet with, like, a Laboratory Maniac, go ahead, spam out a lot of damage and just whatever, and mill yourself down to whatever's down at the bottom. No more deck. Lab Maniac win. You could do something like that, but if you're doing that much damage, inherently you should win already. So I don't know. It's definitely a powerful card. I'm not sure for 5 mana it's necessarily warranted of being commander.
See, I don't think it's good necessarily as a commander on its own, but I think, again, I believe this is probably a staple for any red deck that runs damage spells at all. Maybe. Because, like I said, red is extremely hard up for card draw, and the thing that's nice is, even though she taps for a measly 1 damage, which really isn't that, interesting, she enables herself that way. So inherently, you're drawing 1 card a turn just by her existing. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, but it doesn't get the effect right away. You have to have haste on it or something. But you are in red. But either way, I digress. It's a different card. Definitely one to take note of. So now we'll move on to the next pack. So we'll take these commons out of the way. All right. And I forgot all about the storybook cards being in here. They're really cool.
Some of them are.
So,
I'm not crazy about others, but some of them look pretty nice. Yeah.
Well, I think the one that's on I'll talk about it later. So first one coming up, Deafening Silence, Kenrith's Transformation,
that's good.
Savvy Hunter, and Oathsworn Knight. That's our rare. It's another one of these knights that you were talking about. It is a 3-drop, 1 generic and double black for a 0/0 human knight, and it reads whenever this creature enters the battlefield, it goes ahead and it gets 4 1/1 counters on it, and it attacks each combat if able. Thirdly, if damage would be dealt to Oathsworn Knight while there's a 1/1 counter on it, prevent that damage and remove a counter instead. So this is a kind of unique fog card that has its own ways of protecting itself. However, there is a doomsday clock on it.
Yeah, it's actually not that unique, Stu, because we've seen this exact same ability, granted on green and white cards, back from the Judgment set. The Phantom cards were basically the same ability. This is nice because it comes into play. It's a 4/4 for 3, and it's in a good creature type that needs some support, knights. However, the fact that it attacks every turn and the fact that it just slowly loses the counters and you don't really have a real way to get it back, it's kind of lackluster in my opinion. The only reason you would actually play this is in a knight deck because there are not that many actually good knights.
I actually hold that thought. I don't think so. I would actually use it now. It's not exactly something that's existing out there right now, but you could go ahead and make a mono black Super Friends deck. Ever since we saw the new Yawgmoth guy come out, like being able to proliferate is no longer a problem for black. So you can go ahead and put this in there, make it so this is like the blocker, the protector of all of the planeswalkers you have out, and keep proliferating with it. Inherently, the counters won't die. You'll have a blocker that can always chump, which is great, and their planeswalkers can keep living. So this could be potentially good there.
Yeah, but you're forgetting that it has to attack every turn, so it's not going to be doing much blocking.
Yeah, I guess that's also the
I don't know. It's just it's all right, but it's not great.
Yeah, it's neat. It's different. I'm not sure it's necessarily warranted of a rare, but again, getting a 4/4 for 3 mana, I mean, we see a lot of creatures who get less and they're considered rare as well. So
I mean, well, that's because draft and limited exists, and in a draft, this card is a beast. But anywhere else,
Yeah, I agree with you. But we'll move on to our next pack over here, and we'll go ahead and we'll fly through these commons for you. I'm getting a little bit better at showing these, so I apologize for the first pack. All right, down to the uncommons. We have Turn into a Pumpkin. That is such good flavor right there. Enchanted Carriage. We finally seen a taste in the vehicles. Clockwork Servant. And Happily Ever After. Now, this is a 3-drop enchantment. It is 2 generic and a white, and it reads, when Happily Ever After enters the battlefield, each player gains 5 life and draws a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, there are 5 colors among permanents you control. There are 6 more cards among the permanents you control and or cards in your graveyard, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, you win the game. So this is a win more kind of many taxing stipulations onto it, but you could use this as a potential win con in a 5-color deck in Commander.
You could. I think this is an interesting group hug sort of type card, and it should be played in a deck that's probably a little more casual. I don't really see this as a very competitive game-ending card because there's so many stipulations on it, but it's possible. For sure, I could see this going in. I know Kenrith is actually a like competitive 5-color commander, but if you were just building a fun sort of group huggy type Kenrith deck, this would slot right in there. And I know there are a bunch of other 5-color decks that you could possibly build where this would probably belong. I mean, it's not too bad especially because it counts the graveyard. The really tough part of it is that your life total has to be equal to or greater than your starting life total. That's going to be really tough to do.
Well, you're in white, so white gains life, but again, you're also in 5 colors, so inherently being able to consistently gain life is another thing. So you are right with that.
It's interesting, but I think there are just a little too many conditions to be met for it to be extremely effective. Oh
Yeah, you
well.
almost want to see this for like an Enchantress build, but a 5-color Enchantress build is going to be a little hard to push, and also with all the other things with this, it's going to be even harder to go ahead and make it so that this will inherently win you the game. But also,
Well,
you
it
don't
is
have
kind
to
of.
necessarily win the game with this. You can use this as an enchantment to go ahead and gain life and draw a card.
But I was going to say, it is kind of funny that you could use this with something like Brago or Amanatu to continuously flicker this, gain life, and draw cards. Everybody gains life and draws cards, but still, that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, also, if you go ahead and you make it so what is it, players can't gain life if you have like a Stigma Lasher out,
Right.
inherently they won't get anything, they will draw a card, but you could also do something where they don't want to draw a card. So it is a little niche. I don't think the point of it is to use it for the win condition, but it has its own plays for certain things.
Well, and in those kind of blink decks, they're good at taking control of other people's things, so that might make it even easier to actually win with this.
Potentially, not sure.
Who knows?
But again, you have to have 5 colors, so that's also the problem right there.
Right.
So now on to our next pack. Take the token out and the land in the back. So now we will go ahead and take a look through the commons, breeze right on through that. 7 dwarves, though. You gotta love another card that they put in Magic where you can go ahead and have more than one copy of it in your deck. That's great.
Yeah, you can only have 7 of them. Oh well.
Well, yeah, but still, it's definitely more than one. All right, so now we're in the uncommons. We have Hypnotic Sprite, Steel Claw Lance, Beanstalk Giant. That's actually a really good card in green. And Fabled Passage. Now we're talking right there.
Ooh,
that is awesome. Cool.
Nice.
So, Fabled Passage, for those who don't know it, this is a land. You can go ahead and tap it, and you sacrifice Fabled Passage. You search your library for a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. If you control 4 or more lands, that land ends up coming into play untapped. So this is really cool because it is a fetch land that's not specific to any 1 or 2 types of land type, which is great.
Yeah, and this is like, honestly, you should probably, I mean, if you could afford them, you should probably play this in basically every deck. There's no reason not to.
It's a better Evolving Wild, which we do see a lot of people using, or a Terramorphic Expanse, just for the fact that you can maybe get the untapped for it. Now, in a more competitive scene, like where we're always seeing the shocks and fetches, those might still have a better placing for over this one. This is a little bit more in the roundhouse of Commander, whereas opposed to like a Canopy Vista, or I think it's called Canopy Vista, where like he goes ahead and puts the land into play untapped, but it costs you 1 life.
Right.
I forget the exact name. I think it might be that. So
the
that
fetch,
one's
the
probably,
fetch lands. Yeah,
it's another.
this is.
It's a different one, but it's a little bit more life intensive as opposed to this, where this one's a land cap intensive. So this one's gonna not always be in the form of being super competitive as compared to those, but this is still a great card nonetheless.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it just you gets 1 more card out of your deck. The really nice part is you can use this the turn you play it. And the possibility of it being untapped is, like you said, even better than an Evolving Wild. So really, like I said, I genuinely do believe that if you could afford this, if you're a Commander player, you probably should just stick this into every single deck. Like I said, there is no reason really not to do that.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, I have a green-white dredge deck, and it's definitely going to go home in there. But now on to our next pack. All right. Actually, are there any cards that you're personally looking for in this set, Kyle?
I mean, there always are cards that I'm interested in, but like it would be cool if you got an Oko. I know that
That'd be
probably
cool.
won't happen. You pretty much made your money with the Fabled Passage, so I think that's the best we can expect.
Well, it was a gift from my youngest brother, so inherently I already made my money just by opening 1 pack. So
Yeah, true.
All right, so we'll go into the uncommons real fast, get through these bad boys. All right. And how much is the Fabled Passage going for right now, Kyle? Do you have any idea?
About $25. I just looked it up.
Hey, that's not bad.
Yeah, so you literally did probably just make all the money back.
Yeah, pretty much. These usually go for around 20-some bucks, these fat packs, or these bundles. But now into the uncommons. We have Giant Opportunity, Into the Story, Wintermoor Commander,
That's
and
good.
for the rare, we have a foil Shambling Suit actually in the back, which is pretty cool. Go ahead and show that real fast. Gotta love a foil. And for our rare, we have a thing called Inrig Crag Pyromancer. This is a 3-drop human wizard with a 0/4 body. It costs 2 generic and a mountain. And it reads, whenever you draw your second card each turn, This card goes ahead and deals 3 damage to any target.
Hmm.
Again, no idea what those background noises are, but we're trying to get through all of it. But either way, this is a really awesome, unique card here. This is like what Kyle was saying. Since red inherently doesn't have a lot of card draw in it, this is more or less a way to inherently give you that. Well, actually, no, it isn't. It's a way if you're able to draw more cards, you can go ahead and hurt your opponent's part. My bad. I got confused for a sec.
That's okay. I don't really love this one, especially because like it's a red card, which is supposed to be the aggressive color, and then it's a 0/4. Like, what is that?
Yeah, this is a very goofy card for in red. Like, it's nice to go ahead and ping, but it's if you're drawing more cards, and it's like,
yeah,
wow, you're hearing that too, right?
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. Jason, you might want to mute your mic, I think. Maybe you're getting feedback there. But there maybe there we go. All right, whatever. But anyway,
but either way, we'll move on.
This is kind of a bulk rare. I don't really love this. The whole like when you draw your second card every turn theme that they tried to push in this set is really lame, if you ask me. So
well, it depends on your build. If you're using something like a Howling Mine or like an Anvilable Garden, like if you're inherently trying to do stuff like that, or you're using like loot cards or like a faceless looting, you're going to be inherently drawing extra. But this is a little bit more of a win more kind of card for the fact that it's gonna do something extra in addition to doing something that you want to have. So I agree with you. I'm not exactly sure this is something that's incredibly impressive, but it's also only when you draw your second card each turn. So on the third draw, you don't get anything extra. It's only on the second. So
right,
yeah, I'll agree with you with a bulk rare on this bad boy.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
But moving on to our next pack. Now this is our second to last. We have one more before we conclude this bundle. Pull out the token and the
Stu,
land.
I think I know where that sound's coming from. Put your other thing back in your ear, because I think you have one of those where the speaker is on it. Yeah, so it's rubbing on the table. There we go. Put it in your ear. Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
All
right, I don't know. I'm not moving, but all right, we'll keep going. Yeah. We'll figure this stuff out as we go on in the future. But either way, we'll go through the comments real fast.
Crashing Drawbridge. We'll talk about that one.
Yeah, I like that one because you have walls deck. It's so tiny. All right, and the uncommons we begin. So now it starts off with Claim the Firstborn. Pretty dark. Ooh, storybook card. Love it. Foulmire Knight.
Yeah, it's cool.
Witch's Oven.
Also cool.
Black Lance Paragon. Back into the Knights. Now this is a 2-drop human knight. It costs 1 generic and a black for a 3/1 body on a human knight. It has flash, which is awesome. And when this card enters the battlefield, target knight gains death touch and lifelink until the end of the turn. So this is almost a cool little combo tricks card that's not an instant sorcery. You're inherently getting this on a creature, which is really great.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the better knight tribal pieces out there, because not only is it a flashable, like, potential blocker, and the 3/1 for 2 with flash is a really good set of stats, but the fact that it can give any other knight death touch, but also give itself death touch too. Having a flashing death touch blocker is pretty awesome. And in a tribe that desperately needs some good support, this was a really big step in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree, because usually we end up seeing this as some sort of like little instant or use a condition on a sorcery to make it have instant speed. So it's a little bit different in that regard. So it's refreshing to see it on a creature.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Our final pack, and we'll see if we get anything awesome in here. Another Fabled Passage would be pretty awesome. If I can actually open the pack.
Well, the Crashing Drawbridge, too, is a pretty sweet one, but do we
I
want
can bring that up real fast so you can talk about it while I'm opening the pack.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, for a wall tribal deck, it's obviously good, but I think for a lot of different decks, it could potentially be good, because this basically gives any color the ability to grant haste, which is something that is unprecedented, and I think makes this a combo piece potentially for a lot of different strategies.
And it's an artifact. It works. It's a 2-drop, which is now tutorable with Tribute Mage. And I mean, it's a 0/4 for 2, which is decent, to say at the very least. It will never be able to attack, sure, but it's great in the walls decks that we've seen with the new Elder Dragon coming out. That came out, sorry.
Yeah, and creatures are tutorable, so the fact that this is an artifact and a creature, super findable, and like I said, the fact that it can give any deck the access to blanket haste for a turn even is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so now we'll move on to the last pack. We'll check out these comments. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
All right.
Uh-huh. Wishing well, like that card a lot.
That's a pretty good one.
All right, now we're in the uncommons. Venerable Knight,
Mm-hmm.
Embereth Shieldbreaker,
Mm-hmm. That's
Arcanist
not bad.
Owl. Yeah, we did go ahead and we saw some of the
Arcanist
high
Owl, yeah.
symbols in there. And for the rare, we have Bone Crusher Giant. Now, this is a
Oh, okay.
3-drop, 2 generic, and a mountain for a giant with a 4/3 body. Now, it has on it, like we said, which is Stomp, it says. That costs 2 mana, 1 generic and a red. It's an instant speed, and you can go ahead and damage. Can't be prevented this turn. And in addition, it goes ahead and deals 2 damage to any target. I don't know what all that sound is. And go ahead and you cast this guy from his adventure. It reads whenever this guy becomes the target of a spell, it goes ahead and deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So if you go ahead and use some sort of spot removal on it, it's inherently going to bite you in the neck.
Yeah, this is an interesting card because unlike a lot of the cards we talk about here, this is one that does not really shine in Commander. The ability just doesn't scale very well. However, in competitive Magic, this is actually one of the key cards right now for red because it is such a great rate. I mean, for 2 mana, you get an instant that does 2 damage to anything. That's not it's not great, but it's not terrible either. But then in addition to that, if you want to pay 3 more at some point in the future, you get like a 4/3 for 3 with only upside. That's really really good. So and if someone tries to remove it, they get punished for it. It's a removal spell. It's a creature for that's drastically undercosted for a color that normally when you would have some kind of advantage like that, it wouldn't be able to block or it would have some kind of drawback, but it doesn't. This is all upside and it's great.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, also the body on it's decent for 3 mana. A 4/3 for 3. I mean, you'd just be happy with a 3/3 or even maybe potentially a 3/2 with this. But yeah, it's great versatility, and even still, just make it so that damage can't be prevented this turn is huge. I mean, it doesn't mean it can't be countered. It still could be countered, but it can't be prevented, which is just awesome.
Exactly. So we got an interesting group of cards here. Other than the Fabled passage, I don't know if there was anything terribly exciting.
I don't think so, but
Yeah.
either way, it's still pretty awesome. This was a really cool set. I'm really happy with what I got. I mean, I'll go ahead. We'll fan out the rares really fast one more time. I will pull those back up real fast, Jay.
All right.
All right, we got Bone Crusher, Fabled Passage, Blacklands Paragon, Irene
Mm-hmm.
Crag Paramancer, Happily Ever After, Osworn Knight, Fairbrew Elder, The Castle, a Foil Land, a Story Style Fae of Wishes, and a Wicked Wolf. And lastly, a foil shambling suit. So that is our
Yeah.
haul. That's our haul.
Indeed. Well, I guess that about wraps it up for this video, Stu.
It does. So until next time, I'm Stu.
I'm Kyle, and we'll
And we'll
see you
see you
next
next
time
time
at the
at the
card
card
pool.
pool.
We got to sync that up better next time.
It's all good.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm happy with the Fabled.
Yeah.